Hi everyone. I hope that you had a great fall break, and I'm really happy to be back with you this week. I missed you guys, so happy to be here. All right, let's start with some hello. So let's start with a minute of mindful breathing. So you might choose to focus on your anchor that you've chosen, or you might choose to think breathing in, breathing out. So you decide what you like better, and you do that. And then after a minute, I will ring the bell for our hello. So here we go. So will you be in your mindful body and letting your body get really still, letting your eyes close if it's comfortable for you, and we're breathing. So hello. Take a moment to notice how you feel. I can tell you, for me, I had a little bit of a hard time focusing on my breath during that minute. I'm here in my high school classroom, and my dog is with me, and he's right here in front of me, so I was looking at him. But I did send him some kind thoughts during that minute. So kind of like as a reminder for you, whenever I'm with you in person or on video, if it's not quite working for you at that time, like you're not, able to kind of do what we're doing, you can always choose to do something else like I did. So if we're doing mindful breathing, it's not working for you, and you want to do mindful listening instead, or like I did, we're doing something, wasn't really working for you, and I chose to send kind thoughts instead, you could do that too. Or anytime, when I'm with you or on video, if you're just having a rough day and you can't really like participate the way you normally would, if you just want to, just kind of sit quietly and just kind of be for a little bit, that's okay too. So one of the things in mindfulness that's different than like school stuff is it's really just for you, and it's just to help you in your life. So it's like tools that you can use to make your life better and easier, hopefully. But not everything works for everyone, and that's okay. So you've got some choice for sure in the activities that we do, even when I'm with you. All right, so today we are thinking about when we do our mindfulness, where our mind goes sometimes. So I know for some of us, we can stay focused pretty easily on, the breath, on breathing in and out, and our mind doesn't wander very much. And then for some of us, it's really hard, right? It's hard to keep our mind from wandering. We're always like thinking about something, or worried about something, or planning something that's going to happen. And then for some of us, we're in the middle, right? Maybe it depends on the day. Some days you can stay pretty focused. Some days your mind is just crazy and everywhere. So it's different for everyone, and that's okay, because we're all different people and we have different lives and experiences. So we're just kind of experimenting today on where does your mind go, right? So if we imagine that we're doing some mindful breathing and we're trying to stay focused on our breathing, what if my mind starts going to what I did over fall break, and I think about, what Hazel and I did together. So my mind's escaping into the past. Or what if I am trying to do mindful breathing, but I start thinking about, what am I gonna have for dinner tonight? Maybe I'm kind of hungry and I'm like, maybe I should go pick up some Taco Bell. Or maybe I should make something healthy for dinner, right? I'm like planning, I'm thinking about the future. So those are pretty common things that your mind might do when you're practicing mindfulness. You might think about something that happened already, like in the past, or you might kind of plan ahead for something that's going to happen in the future. So that's what we're going to notice today when we practice our mindful breathing here in just a minute. So I'm going to ask you to pay attention to that. Just notice, where does your mind go? If it wanders off, maybe it doesn't wander off, that's okay too. And if you want to, if it's like helpful to you when we're breathing and you're paying attention to what your mind's doing, if you notice your mind thinking about, past or present, you can say that in your mind. Like you can be like thinking, and kind of use it as a reminder to come back to breathing. If you're worrying about something, right? You're nervous about something and you want to say worrying, right? You can do that. Or if you're like having a feeling, maybe you're just like feeling sad for a minute, you can say feeling. So if it's helpful to you, kind of label it to where your mind goes, and just notice where your mind goes in our minute of mindful breathing that we're going to do. And then you can think about, where did my mind go? All right, so we'll get back into our mindful bodies. So letting your body get really still, letting your eyes close if it's comfortable for you. We'll do mindful breathing and we'll notice where our mind goes. All right, so just take a moment to notice what happened, right? Where did your mind go? Did it want to think about the past or the future? Did it worry? Did it plan something? Did it feel a feeling? For me, I can tell you, I worried for a second about my plants, my classroom plants, and I was like, hope they survive fall break, but I just looked at them, they look pretty good. And then I also thought ahead about my dog because he's having a surgery at the vet in a couple days, so I thought about that. So where did your mind go? What did your mind think about? So how can we use this, right? This practice that we did. So if you ever have thoughts that you don't want to have, right? Sometimes your brain thinks about things that you don't really want to think about. This is something that you could use where if you notice that you're thinking about that, you can kind of like let it go after that and maybe it won't come back again. Say you're at school and your teacher's teaching you something and you realize you're thinking about something else entirely. You can notice it and then you can use your mindfulness to bring your attention back to paying attention to the teacher instead of thinking about whatever that was, right? Maybe sometimes we have thoughts a lot, right? The ones that like, they keep coming, and even if you don't want to think about them, they just keep coming back, kind of like things we don't want to think about. So we can notice it, and if we notice that we keep thinking about it, we don't always have to like buy into it or believe it, just because our brain wants us to think about it. Because not all of our thoughts are true, right? Sometimes we're wrong. Sometimes we worry about things we don't need to worry about. So just because your brain thinks it doesn't mean it's true all the time. So mindful challenge that we probably already talked about is just noticing this, right? So whenever you're practicing mindfulness, whatever you choose to practice, breathing, listening, sending kind thoughts, noticing your body, any of that stuff, just notice where your mind goes. Present, past, feelings, worrying, and pay attention to it. So I think that's it for today. So I'm, again, so glad to be back with you, and I will see you really soon. So let's ring the bell one more time for our goodbye. And I'll just ask you to raise your hand when you don't feel it or hear it anymore for this goodbye. All right, so we be in your mindful body one more time. Let your eyes close if you want to. And this is our goodbye. See you soon.